Sparks flying in Sacramento today. Coming out of committee, we saw Senate Bill 818 get the boot, some political posturing going on. Perhaps it's time for us to get our torches out. Let's talk about it. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel today. We had a little bit of fire coming out of Sacramento. Today it was in the form of Senate Bill 818. So to walk us through that today, we have brought back our legislative director. You can find him on AM 590, The Answer, every Saturday at 1 p.m. on the Firing Line Radio. That, of course, is Rick Travis. Rick, thanks for being with us today.
Thanks for having me, Kevin.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's just get right into it here. We had a committee meeting. I'm going to ask you which committee, but first, could we get through a little bit of the context here? So we're talking about Senate Bill 818. This is the Mountain Lion bill. For those who haven't been following along, can you just fill them in on what this bill does?
Yeah, so Senate Bill 818 is brought to us by Senator Alvarado Gil. She's out of El Dorado and a couple other counties up in the what I would call the northeast corner of the state. It's an interesting district. She brought this bill forward because of a tragic incident that happened. And what this bill is designed to do is not kill mountain lions. It's designed to allow us to start to put the fear back in mountain lions. A lot of people don't understand. You can take any 5 states in the U.S., including Alaska, which takes up 2/3 of the U.S., put them together, and they do not combined have the number of mountain lions that we do in California. So anybody with the rhetoric of that mountain lions are endangered, are threatened, in California, if that's true in California, then it's true nationwide, because we have the most and the highest density of those cougars happens to be in El Dorado County. And what this is designed to do is to use a better method of hazing called dogs. And the dogs would be pushing the cats away from livestock, but more importantly, away from people.
So, as opposed to any of these talking points that the mountain lion population is threatened, it's actually the opposite. Just continuing to set up the context here. We've got too many mountain lions in the state. We continue to see evidence of that. But that tragedy that you mentioned, I wanted to ask you about that before we get into the Capitol and the committee meeting today, which essentially was the catalyst for this bill being created, right? Can you go ahead and fill us in on that? What was the tragedy that happened?
So the Brooks family, Talon, which was the victim, and his brother, Wyatt, who was the first victim, back in March of 2024, they were walking down a road just outside of what's called Georgetown. It's a small community in El Dorado. They're walking along a fire trail road in the National Forest into a meadow to look at antler sheds. They were unarmed. Part of the reason for being unarmed that day, normally in the woods, they would carry a firearm with them, but they didn't, because it was the beginning of the youth spring turkey hunt, and they didn't want to get in trouble with Fish and Game for having a firearm out there, and maybe people thinking, oh, they were trying to hunt when they shouldn't be. So they didn't take one. They were looking for antler sheds, some that you use to train dogs and stuff with. And so they were up there walking at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Mountain lions are nocturnal hunters, meaning that they hunt at night. And that's when the cat attacked Wyatt. Talon threw I think it was a backpack at the cat to try to get the cat off, and then the cat decided to go after Talon. Wyatt, who had been severely injured, ran to the truck to get cell service to call in for help. When they got back, Talon was no longer at the scene. The cat had killed Talon, had dragged Talon about, I think, 100 yards or so away from the original point is where they found him. The cat had started to feed on Talon. So this was not just a man killer, but a man-eating cat. The cat, they wanted to be able to kill the cat, and the Department of Fish and Wildlife said absolutely not. This went all the way up to the head of the department, who said no. And the sheriff, Jeff Lykoff, who is the sheriff of El Dorado County, gave the order to go ahead and take the cat's life, which I think is common sense to anybody hearing this. And then afterwards started this big debate over, with the highest density of mountain lions is in El Dorado County. California has more, like I said, than multiple states combined, including Alaska, which is big. And so as a result, people were like, hey, we need to do something. the issue around this, Kevin, is you've got a governor whose dad, Judge Newsom, was the founder of the Mountain Lion Group, helped push the bill through that got eventually became a proposition that the voters voted on. So mountain lions are protected in the state, but the problem is hazing isn't working. We've had generations of mountain lions that haven't had the threats of dogs, humans, or other apex predators to push on them. And so as a result, they have bred and out of control. And to put things in context, Kevin, you know, for literally decades, the number of cougars that we needed, or mountain lions, in this state to have a healthy population was at 600. Depending on whose count you take today, it's well over 4,000. A lot of people are saying it's right around 5,000, but there are some biologists and others that have reported it's as high as 6,000. And for those of you just tuning in on this debate, this comes from a department that told us a couple of years ago we might have 30,000 bears, and now have owned up plus or minus 15,000, plus or minus that. We're at 60,000 bears, which means we could be as high as 75,000. So department's counting of predators is not wholly accurate. We have more coyotes, we have more bears, we have more mountain lions, and rapidly our wolf population is growing. All of those are good things. All of us want to see those animals in the field, but when you get too many of those animals, everything starts suffering, from humans to livestock to other species of animals that are being decimated by this mess. And this bill was not, again, I want to repeat, not designed to kill mountain lions. It's designed to put fear into them, to push them back. And to those of you that would assert, well, it was their land first, that's factually not true. There's many areas where mountain lions are showing up that traditionally science says they were never there before.
Yeah, so you kind of have all the makings here to have kind of like a no-brainer piece of legislation. The bill itself isn't threatening to the existing population because it doesn't involve any taking of the animal. It's just about hazing. You have obvious signs that the population is out of control, and obvious signs of the detriment that it's bringing to the state and to individuals at this point. So, having said all of that, with, of course, the one contradiction being that that you mentioned, Governor Newsom's dad, headed up that mountain lion group. What exactly happened today? What were your expectations going into committee? And then fill us in on what happened there.
The expectations were, I mean, obviously, this is like any other committee meeting. You get to have a couple of people go up and testify for the 5 minutes between them. And then the rest of us are able to approach the microphone and say on behalf, like I would on behalf of the California Rifle Pistol Association, we support or we oppose whatever the piece of legislation is. And then both sides do that, and then they have a vote. This is, if you go and look at the agenda, it was literally called the special order of business, which means it was highlighted. It's the first thing on the docket. And that usually means like, hey, let's have everybody there, mean all the members of the dais. And instead, several members of the dais no-showed it. And why is that important? Well, it's important because the person testifying for 2.5 of those minutes was Wyatt Brooks, the survivor of that mountain lion attack. There to talk about losing his brother, there to talk about everything that followed, the mishandling of the situation, all the pain, all the suffering, and the fact then they had, a couple of other people quickly testified, using up that remaining time, to talk about all the damage that's being done, the threats to schools. You had the sheriff of El Dorado County there who can tell you all the different things that mountain lions have done in the place. But yet, with the highlight, and this is the point I want to make, the highlight of what was about to happen in this committee, the highlight of, in a building where I constantly hear people coming forward, Kevin, to talk about like, oh, my car got robbed, or oh, my house got broken into, or after my house burned down, somebody came and took a piece of pipe or something, which are all legitimate things. I'm not putting any of that down. And rightfully so, legislators are like, yeah, let's be there for that. But when something like this comes up, it's hard for me to think of something more tragic than losing your family member I don't care if it's on the streets or in the woods. But then to watch the very thing that took your family member's life start to eat your family member, and there be a debate on what you can and can't do, that is like one of the most reprehensible things I can think of. And for legislators who will show up for far less testimony in droves to no show, I think speaks volumes to this electorate. I think it speaks volumes to our community. And I think it's something that every single member should be putting down, saying, those people on the list that did not show don't deserve to be in office, period.
Well, yeah, you're not going to get an argument from me here on that. And is that essentially what it is? Is that a political tactic? I mean, what would be the reasoning for no showing that?
Well, because there's this belief that the electorate is stupid. I'm just going to be blunt. And so they believe the electorate sees things as, oh, I voted yes, I voted no, or I just didn't vote. I didn't take a position. And that's the lie. It's in that third one. If this is a bill to pass, it takes 5 members of the committee to say yes. So when you abstain or no show, you didn't say yes, you said no. Period.
So having
Not
said that,
the courage to show up and look at the family in the face shows just how weak these people are.
yeah. Well, having said that, I mean, we've seen bills get bitten and resurrected as zombies the following year. We've seen some bills, get shot down in committee and then brought back this year. And then, of course, you have bills that are shot down and they don't come back. What is the path forward that you see for this? Any possibility in a resurrection here not making it through this committee?
Well, I think it depends on the public outcry this week. I know there are a couple other senators that are less than happy. And so I think as we see this cycle develop over the next couple of days, we'll be able to have a better answer. I mean, right now I don't have that crystal ball. I would hope that enough public outcry will put the pressure on to get this common sense piece of legislation to the governor's desk, and that we can put enough pressure based on what we do here that the governor would sign it. It's, for the record, it is a pilot project. We're asking for a scientifically studied test to see if this works as a legitimately non-lethal form of hazing mountain lions to make it safer for all of us.
Well, a public outcry is certainly something that we can help with. You guys, if you are already subscribed to the CRPA emails, you will have gotten yesterday an email that would allow you to advocate for this bill with just one click of a button. You can still advocate for it now. Let's keep the ball rolling here. Jacob, maybe what we can do is we can put the link to that landing page down in the description below. You can see all the active campaigns that we have, and you can go through there to do it. Rick, anything else worth mentioning? Anything to look forward to in the legislature in the coming weeks?
In the same strain, we have a week from now, we will have a rally at the Capitol. You can go to our CRPA webpage and see that, and it's on the bear bill to do the same thing, to use dogs to haze bears in a non-lethal manner, because we also lost a lady who lost her life to a bear that had tried to break into her home multiple times. And so that's what I mean by the predators are out of control, and we need to put some fear back into them to push them back into nature.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. These populations are out of control, and that's sort of the thing. It's kind of weird because these things that are being proposed, they aren't even about the taking of these animals. It's literally just about hazing. Well, Rick, I want to thank you for the work that you're doing. I want to thank you for being there on that one, and I know you're a busy guy, so thanks for coming on and sharing with us.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. And guys, if you like content like this, you want to continue and stay informed on two-way litigation and legislative efforts, please be sure to like, share, and subscribe to these videos. Really helps get the information out as far and wide as possible. Let's keep this two-way ball rolling forward through the year 2025. Thanks again, guys. We'll see you on the next one.